folks, this episode is going to be different from all our previous videos here in We.Are.Wanderful. That's because I'm starting a new segment, category, wherein I will be sharing various travel tips, hacks, gears, recommendations, ideas, and other information that you may find useful for your own family travels. And this is the very first episode under this new segment. I made the decision to start this new segment when I realized that I've been getting a lot of questions from our viewers about various stuff regarding our travels. I've been getting more and more of these questions recently, not only in the comments on videos I post on YouTube, but also on Messenger via our Facebook page, and I also get questions via email, WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, and even SMS, mostly from friends and acquaintances. Since many of the questions are alike or similar, then I thought I'd just create videos to address these common questions and post them in my channel for the benefit of whomever may need this information. Makes sense, right? Of course, viewers of our videos may still ask questions in the comments or through any of the various messaging platforms. But at least if I already have a ready-made reply from a previously posted video on this segment, then I can simply just direct them to it, okay? So basically on this new segment, I will be sharing tips and pointers and other information that may be useful to our viewers, specifically on the topic of family travel. Do take note of the emphasis on family. Although from time to time I may share some information about travel in general, for the most part I will be focusing on family travel in particular, since I will be deriving and sharing information from my own experiences traveling as a family. By family travel, I'm basically referring to visiting places for tourism purposes with family members, including kids and or seniors, as opposed to traveling solo or with a partner or with friends or casual acquaintances. If you watch some of our videos, you have probably observed that we are almost always with kids and even seniors. This is because we travel a lot as an extended family. That is, my own family, that's me and Marie and our kids, Mariana and Johan. And oftentimes with my two sisters-in-law and their respective families, and my parents-in-law. On a sad note, we just lost both of my parents-in-law in the past 2.5 years, so we are going to sorely miss them in our future travels. Anyway, our vast experiences from these extended family travels, including lessons learned and even our fails, are going to be the primary sources of tips, pointers, hacks, suggestions, recommendations, and so on that I will be sharing with you. Oh, and by the way, I will be sharing information about some of our travel gears as well, since that's another common type of question that I get, like what camera do I use, or how do I secure gadgets when traveling, and so on and so forth. In fact, for this first episode under this new segment, I will talk about travel gears, specifically the cameras we use during our travels. I've been getting tons of questions about this, so I've chosen it to be the first topic to discuss on this new segment. Here's a specific question I'd like to answer through this episode. Let me show you a screenshot of it. Okay, this is a screenshot of an actual question I got from one of our regular viewers, and there are many others very similar to it. It's in Tagalog, and it simply translates to, what cameras do you use in your travels with your family? Okay, so let me show you the cameras we use in our family travels. There's quite a number of them actually. Here's the first one. Yes, we do use a DSLR. So this is an EOS 70D with a 200mm zoom lens. It's quite old. We bought it in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, in time for our extended family tour in Italy back then. This is actually our second DSLR. Our first DSLR was an EOS 550D, and for a while we were using both of them in our travels. Marie would use this newer EOS 70D with its 200mm zoom lens, while I would use the older 550D, which we retrofitted with a wide-angle lens. But more and more, we've slowly stopped bringing the older EOS 550D in our family travels. Mabigat and bulky din kasi to bring both of them. About a year and a half ago, we decided to try and sell the 550D via carousel. Ayun, it got snapped off immediately. The buyer is such a lucky guy because he got it for a bargain, and it is still a very good DSLR in a good working condition. It's a classic too. Since we already let go of it, let me just show you some photos of our EOS 550D. There it is. We actually love this DSLR because it has very simple settings and controls, and therefore very easy to use. By the way, I only sold the main camera unit of the 550D, and we kept the wide angle lens. I still bring it on some of our family travels, and we use it with the EOS 70D whenever the need for a wide angle lens arises. I won't go yet into the details of what we use our DSLR for, when and where we use it, and how we use it. I'll make a separate video exclusively for that and post it soon, so please watch out for it. Let's move on to the next camera in our family travel arsenal. Okay, our next travel camera is a classic video cam. This is a Canon HF R4C0. This is also very old. I think even older than our EOS 70D, meaning earlier than 2015. It's very light. It fits nicely into the palm of my hand, as you can see. We bought this primarily for documenting special events and occasions, especially for our kids, like school programs and ceremonies, recitals, birthday parties, and so on. But since we already have it, we also use it in some of our travels. But we no longer use it as much anymore. I'll tell you why later. I will also make a separate video where I will discuss the cameras I or we use specifically in taking videos, which one we use for what specific occasion or situation, how we use them, and so on. So for now, let's move on to the next travel camera we use. Okay, this is one of our favorites. This is a Digicam. The brand is Fujifilm. It is waterproof up to 50 meters deep and shockproof up to 2 meters high. It is a very rugged and heavy-duty camera. It's also already very old. If I'm not mistaken, we bought it almost at the same time as our EOS 70 DSLR 2015. If you have been watching our videos here on our channel, for sure you know why this is one of our most abused cameras. We are water magnets, okay? Somehow we are always drawn to water, whether it's the beach, the high seas, some waterfalls deep in some forests, rivers with rapids, underwater rivers in some caves, lakes, water parks, and so on. You name a water adventure, you probably have tried it already. I'll be talking more about this camera in the video where I will discuss the cameras we use specifically for taking videos. And again, in yet another video where I will talk about how we take photos and videos of our many web adventures. So watch out for it. Now let me talk about this. No, this is not a GoPro. I do not own a GoPro. I recently got a question via Messenger on our FB page asking what brand of GoPro I use. I replied that I do not own a GoPro, and I clarified that GoPro is a brand and that action camera is the general term for this type of camera. I went on to tell the guy that the brand of my action camera is no brand. This is a very cheap unbranded action camera that I bought from Lazada for less than 1,000 pesos. That's right, less than 1,000 pesos. Heard me right. 750 pesos, I think. And this was way back in 2016. And it's still alive and working just fine. And I've been using it a lot as well. In fact, this is now the default go-to camera for all our family travels and adventures. I very recently checked Shopee and Lazada for the current prices of the latest action cameras. Let me show you what I can. Okay, it seems that the current prices for unbranded action cameras range from as low as around 500 pesos to about a few thousand pesos. So if you're interested to buy an action camera, at least now you already have some idea. Of course, if you want to buy only branded cameras, then go ahead and buy a GoPro or some other action camera brands. Okay, what's next? What other cameras we use for our travels? Is there any more? Let's see. Oh, of course. How can I forget our smartphones? Of course, we use our smartphones a lot during our travels. In fact, for certain trips, like our short or minor trips, sometimes we no longer bring the other cameras, especially the DSLR, since it's also a bit heavy and bulky. So we just use our smartphones. More and more, we now rely on our cell phones for both photos and videos. They offer the added advantage of allowing us to immediately post photos and videos to our social media accounts. So I guess we can say that our preferred camera for our family travels are now our personal smartphones. Does that mean that we will soon not use our other cameras in our family travels? Not necessarily. There are specific occasions and situations where I believe we will still prefer to use the DSLR, for instance, or the video camera, Digicam. For wet adventures, we'll definitely still use our waterproof cameras. Right now, as a rule, for major trips like our extended family trips abroad, we'll bring all of them. As in, all of them. I'll tell you why in the other forthcoming videos that I will be making and posting under this segment, so please stay tuned, okay? Okay, let's make a quick recap. Here again are the cameras that we usually use in our family travels. We use a DSLR. In our case, it's an old Canon EOS 70D with a 200mm zoom lens, and we also have a wide-angle lens that we can use when needed. We also have an old Canon video cam. A waterproof and shockproof Fujifilm Digicam, also very old. An unbranded and very cheap action camera. Actually, this is the unit, okay? Very small and very light. It's not a Gopro, and it has also been around and is heavily used since 2016. And finally, we have our smartphones. As mentioned earlier, I will discuss these cameras individually in other forthcoming videos under this new segment. I share with you what camera or cameras we bring for specific family travels, when and how we use each individual camera, what accessories we use for them, if any, and so on. Later on, in yet other forthcoming videos, I will also talk about backup power for our cameras and how we ensure we can operate them throughout the day. I'll probably also talk about how we manage file storage for photos and video files. Again, all of these are in the context of family travels, okay? So if there are things that interest you, I invite you to watch out for these forthcoming videos. And that's all for this first episode under this new segment. If you find this video useful or at least informational, please give it a thumbs up. Please feel free to share it with your friends too. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet, and also click the bell icon to get all the updates. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon.